You've worked hard. You've followed the rules. You checked every box they gave you. Got the job, got the apartment, got the person. You've posted the milestones. You even smile in the pictures. And yet, something still feels off, like you're living someone else's life. Like you're standing in the middle of everything you ever wanted, and all you feel is nothing. Why? They told you that happiness would come after success, after security, after achievement. But no one tells you what to do when you win. And it still doesn't feel like enough. We live in a world obsessed with appearances. We're trained to chase results. More money, more attention, more followers, more progress. We were promised a formula: achieve X, by Y feels Z. But what if Z never comes? What if the dopamine rush dies the moment you get it, and now you need something else to chase, just to feel alive? This is the modern condition. We drown ourselves in consumption, but we're starving for meaning. Psychologist Eric Fromm called this the marketing personality. You shape yourself into what others will approve of, and in the process, you forget who you actually are. There are 6 major reasons why you feel empty, even when your life looks good on paper. 1. You're disconnected from yourself. You've built a life, but not your life. It's a copy of someone else's blueprint, a life designed for praise, not for peace. You studied the algorithm of being liked, but you lost track of what you truly love. You say yes to things that drain you. You laugh at jokes you don't find funny. You chase goals that leave you numb the moment you reach them. You've been acting, performing, but no one applauds when the camera stops rolling. And suddenly, it's just you, alone with the question, who am I without the performance? We confuse success with alignment. But alignment means your life actually reflects your truth. And truth is quiet, subtle. It doesn't scream through achievement. It whispers through honesty. And most people haven't been honest with themselves in a long time. 2, you've abandoned your inner child. As a kid, you didn't need much. A stick, a blanket, a weird-looking rock. You could turn it into a whole world. But somewhere along the way, you were taught that wonder has no value, that joy must be earned, that play is only allowed if everything else is done. So you traded curiosity for credentials, laughter for logic, magic for metrics. And now, you don't even remember what excites you. You forgot how to just exist, to do something not for profit, but because it feels good. You call those things unproductive, but your inner child is still in there, watching silently from the back seat as you drive further and further away from everything that once made you feel alive. You didn't grow out of your joy, you buried it. And now you wonder why everything feels so cold. 3, you're spiritually starved. Not in a religious sense, in a human sense. When was the last time you stood in nature and said nothing? When was the last time you created something just to express what you couldn't say? We spend our lives looking down at screens and wondering why we feel so small. You are not designed to live in pixels. Your soul needs texture, stillness, depth, connection to something beyond you. You were never meant to be the center of your own universe. And yet we build identities out of branding and convince ourselves that we're growing, when really, we're just curating. You don't need a temple or a guru, but you do need something sacred, something that reminds you, you're not just a consumer. You're a creator, you're a witness, you're part of a story bigger than your own. But instead of facing that emptiness, we run from it. We scroll, we drink, we binge, we chase. We pretend we're fine. We stack up achievements like sandbags, hoping they'll protect us from the flood. But the flood always comes, because no amount of more can fill a space that was never meant to be filled externally. The problem isn't dopamine. The problem is disconnection. Emptiness is what happens when we forget who we are and what we're here for. And deep down, you already know this. You feel it every time things get quiet, when there's nothing left to check or fix or prove, and all that's left is silence. But silence isn't the enemy. Silence is the beginning of truth. So what are you really missing? Presence. You've been everywhere, except here. Always planning, always rushing. But life is happening now, not next week, not after your next goal. The soul doesn't live in the future. It lives here. Purpose. Not the kind they sell you on posters, but the kind that makes suffering meaningful, that gives context to the chaos, that pulls you forward when motivation runs dry. And no, your purpose doesn't have to be world-changing, but it has to be real. It has to matter to you. Connection, real connection, not performative, not filtered, not transactional. The kind where you actually feel seen, held, heard. The kind you've been aching for without knowing it. And yes, that starts with connecting to yourself. You don't need to blow up your life. You don't need to run off to the mountains. You don't need to throw away your job, your friends, or your apartment. But you do need to stop lying to yourself. Stop pretending this is enough, if it's not. Stop numbing the ache instead of listening to it. That emptiness, it's not a flaw. It's not a glitch. It's a signal, a message, a map. And if you have the courage to follow it, it will lead you home. 4. You mistake stimulation for meaning. We live in an age of constant noise. Notifications, ads, feeds. Our attention is pulled in 100 directions, every single minute. And somewhere along the way, we started confusing that stimulation with meaning. You feel busy, engaged, alert, but underneath the buzz, you're numb. You're constantly on, but never really here. You're not reflecting, you're reacting. You're not choosing, you're scrolling. You're not feeling, you're distracting. And because of that, you've lost your ability to sit in stillness, to feel life deeply. Every moment is another escape from yourself. But there's no high strong enough to drown out the quiet ache. Because stimulation satisfies the mind, but only meaning satisfies the soul. And you've been feeding one while starving the other. 5. You're avoiding your shadow. There's a part of you don't want to face. The part that's angry, jealous, afraid. The part that was hurt and never really healed. So you hide it. You polish yourself up. You become palatable. You become safe. But that shadow doesn't disappear just because you ignore it. It waits. It leaks into your thoughts, your relationships, your dreams. You can feel it when you snap for no reason, when you sabotage good things, when you overreact to the smallest trigger. That's not weakness. That's the part of you that's been begging to be seen. But you've buried it so deep, you forgot it was ever there. Emptiness often comes not from a lack of light, but from the fear of facing your own darkness. Until you stop running from that part of you, you'll always feel like something's missing, because it is. It's you. 6. You've forgotten how to feel. You've become good at functioning, efficient, productive, focused. You've turned life into a to-do list, but ask yourself, when was the last time you actually felt something fully? Not a passing reaction, not forced positivity, but real emotion, unfiltered, raw, alive. We've been trained to suppress, to keep it together, to smile and move on. But in numbing the hard feelings, you also shut out the beautiful ones. You can't selectively go numb. You either feel or you don't. And the longer you stay numb, the less real everything starts to feel. Joy becomes empty, love becomes distant, and life starts to feel like a movie you're watching instead of something you're living. You didn't lose your spark, you just lost touch with the part of you that knows how to feel. And now, it's time to remember. So now what? Don't rush to distract yourself. Don't jump to the next video. Just breathe, just feel, just listen. There's a voice underneath all of this, your own. And finally, it's trying to speak.